Guns kill people. Everybody knows that, right? Not everybody. Young children don't know that. At least they don't understand it. Adults know that guns kill people. You point a gun at someone and you pull the trigger, and you're going to kill that person. Kids just don't understand that. Consider what kids do when they find a gun. They pick it up. They look at it. They play with it. They point it at themselves. They point it at someone else. And oftentimes, they pull the trigger. Research shows that kids play with guns. Boys and girls. 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, even 3-year-olds. It's what they do. They see it on TV. They see it in the movies. They see it in video games. And they do it themselves. As a result, hundreds of children are injured or killed by guns that they find every year. Here's an example of that very fact. Imagine the heartbreak if you were a parent and your child found your gun and killed himself. Year after year, hundreds of children die or get injured when they find a gun, pick it up, point it at someone, and pull the trigger. So I ask you, what can we do about that? How do we keep kids safe from guns? And the answer is pretty straightforward. You have to store your guns safely, unloaded and locked with a gun lock or in a locked box or in a gun safe. It's that simple. But simple solutions don't work if people don't use them. Some people, including parents, forget to store their guns safely. Some people, including parents, intentionally keep their guns loaded and ready for use. It's hard to change that behavior. People have tried. Media campaigns have been launched to try to get parents to store their guns safely. Public service announcements, free gun locks, even laws that hold parents criminally responsible if a child hurts someone with their gun. And yet, kids still find loaded guns. And the problem persists. Year after year, hundreds of children die when somebody shoots somebody else. Over 100 children killed every year. Over 1,000 children injured every year. These tragedies are preventable if parents and gun owners would simply store their guns safely. We should never stop trying to get people to store their guns safely. But until we can get all people to store their guns safely, what can we do to keep kids safe from guns? I spent the last 12 years doing research trying to answer that question. And the answer is, we have to teach kids to do the right thing when they find a gun. And the right thing is to not touch it, get away, and tell an adult. 3 simple steps. Don't touch it, get away, and tell an adult. If kids did these 3 things when they found a gun, kids would not kill other kids with guns. But how do we get kids to do this? Some would say education. Talk to your kids. Make sure your kids get the message. Don't touch it, get away, and tell an adult. Make sure kids get the message at home. Make sure they get the message at school. Sounds great, doesn't it? The problem is it doesn't work. Research shows that when kids get that kind of training, they still touch guns. Just telling kids what to do isn't enough. In fact, there are programs available online from national organizations that teach kids what to do, not to touch the gun, to get away and to tell an adult, using coloring books and videos and instructional materials, and these programs don't work. We know they don't work because we've tested kids. We test kids by taking a gun that's disabled. It's a real gun, but it's disabled. Sometimes we use a replica. And we place that gun in a room with a hidden video camera. And when the kid's in the room, we get to see what will the kid do when the kid finds the gun. And what we find is these instructional programs don't work. Sometimes kids can tell you what to do when they do these programs. They'll tell you, if I see a gun, I won't touch it. I'll get away and I'll tell an adult. And then when we test them, they touch the gun. Saying what to do doesn't mean you're going to do the right thing. So what does work? What works is practice and reinforcement. Kids have to practice the skills multiple times. They have to practice the skills and get praised and rewarded for doing the right thing. The key is practice and reinforcement. Kids only have one chance to do the right thing. If they find a gun, they need to get away and tell an adult, or they face injury or death. Practice is the key. Multiple times. But it has to be the right kind of practice, realistic practice. Kids have to practice finding a real gun that's disabled at home, and they have to practice running away from it and telling a parent. They have to actually engage in the behavior in the presence of the gun. And they have to do that multiple times. They need to do it in the bedroom and in the kitchen, in the living room, in the garage. They're developing a habit of, instead of seeing a gun and reaching for it, they see a gun and run away from it and tell a parent. And this kind of training works. We know because we've tested kids after this kind of training and they do the right thing. If they don't, they keep practicing until they do. This kind of training is called behavioral skills training, and a lot of research shows that it works. Behavioral skills training is the only thing that works. But it takes a lot of effort. Are your kids worth the effort? Thank you.